big for me is that when I have people around me, they are my hands and feet. They are never my brain.
Yes.
Any day they become my brain,
yes.
I cease to be the leader.
Master Coach Apostle Courtney McLean and Business Coach Zidane Sinister are powered up to share their expertise on the business end.
Welcome to another episode of The Business End. Here on The Business End, we provide real and practical solutions to advance businesses by speaking with experts in the field and existing entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Zidane Sinister, and here today we are pleased to have Reverend Dr. Kenroy Waldo, the founder and CEO of Contagious Mentorship Services, Contagious Shipping, and yes, KNK Travel and Tours. Now, Reverend Dr. Waldo is an accomplished educator. He currently serves as the director and the principal of Wafif Christian College. He is also a certified John Maxwell leadership coach and a Wired to Win DNA coach. Now, Reverend Waldo is also a justice of the peace. He is an author, entrepreneur, and the list goes on. Too many to name. Now, wrapped up in this man is God-given purpose. Now, help us to welcome Reverend Dr. Kenroy Waldo. Welcome, sir.
And thank you for having me. It's such a privilege to be here.
It's our privilege to have you, sir. You are definitely doing it for God. You're definitely doing it for Jamaica. You're definitely doing it for your staff and team of your companies. Now, Reverend Dr. Waldo, you know that journey is a multifaceted one. It's a journey that sparks leadership, education, ministry, entrepreneurship. How do you manage all these roles? What led you into all of these roles, and do they complement each other?
Awesome question. Well, firstly, all of these roles complement each other.
Yes.
Yeah, all of them. As you can see, what led me into it was that I realized from early that, there was just this love for leading.
Yes.
And as I grew up, when I was in high school, I was dorm class monitor, then prefect, then deputy head boy, you name it. And then I went to college, and then I was, being, put in different leadership roles. And every college I went to, I was always placed in a leadership role, whether I wanted it or not. Somebody just saw it, and that is exactly what happened. And then as I grew, I came into contact with Apostle. That's where really, the passion for entrepreneurship came out. I never saw myself as an entrepreneur, but just coming into this space with so many different persons with Apostle. I heard you as well when you're doing so many different presentations, especially that debt burning. And it just pushed me into coming into the spirit. So all of them connect because they are creating impact. They are helping others to come out of different situations they are in their lives.
And you have been creating impact, as you said, from an early age until now. So what we want the viewers and listeners to realize is that once God called you into purpose, you may not understand your purpose, but if you press in, you'll realize that if you keep getting leadership roles, maybe you ought to be a leader. Maybe you ought to be an entrepreneur and pave the way for others to follow. And that is exactly what Reverend Dr. Waldo did. And it has borne fruit, sir.
It has borne so many different things, and people keep coming and saying, listen, you have impacted my life. Even people that I don't know, I'm walking on the road and they say, I know you. You did this, or I listened to you one Sunday morning, or I listened to you when you were doing a presentation at a company, and what you said impacted me. And now I am doing this, or I'm doing that. One of my mentees just said to me, listen, somebody just called me for a job. And he said, listen, I don't know how they called me. I said, don't worry how they called you. You just want to know they called you.
They called you.
And then he said, I know how they called me. You did it.
You did it, yes.
And he was so happy because we have been working together for so long. And I said to him, there is more in you. You need to push. You need to want better for your life. And with this just coming to him, he said, listen, it's because you kept at me. You kept telling me that I can be great, I can do better. And he's just elated. His life is just being transformed.
And that must have given you greater reward than any financial thing that comes with it. And I can see you glowing. And we applaud you, sir, for pouring into person's life for them to be a seed for another seed.
Thank you.
Though you are currently the principal, I'm sure you would have had your vision and your thrust for such a role. What are some of the key priorities that you have in developing for students in terms of their academic and also their spiritual journey?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, Wafif Christian College is owned and operated by Wafif and comes under the Whole Life Group of Schools brand, the vision of Apostle Courtney McLean and Reverend Nadine McLean. And as director for it, our goal is to train people, especially believers, to come into Christian ministry so that they can also create impact. The truth is that Apostle cannot reach everyone, just as how Jesus could not reach everyone. He created a government. He had 12 people around him. For me, he created a business because he had employees around him.
Yes.
And so the key priority is to help them, one, to find their passion, to find their calling, and for them to understand that, listen, if you're going to be effective, you must study. You must study. You must study. In the book of Daniel, Daniel and the 3 Hebrew boys, they went to study for 3 years before they could come into the service of Nebuchadnezzar. He wasn't an idiot. He said, listen, you guys, you look brilliant, but you need to go study first, and then you can come into service. And that is what we do. That's our big priority. We are getting them to study so that they can come and create serious impact.
Yes, and of course, you spoke about creating impact. Now, your company, Contagious Mentorship Services, that to me, just in our previous conversations, suggests that you have a passion for personal growth. And we hear it echoing in just how you spoke about bringing persons into their spiritual call and God-ordained purpose for their lives. But in your mentorship servicing business, you want to use that to elevate persons into bringing them into their own purpose. Now, what inspired you to start that company, and how have you been able to achieve that vision?
Well, what inspired me is, we went into a session again with Apostle, and we're talking about just how God has appointed us to help people to become better. In my own life, I realized I needed to be better as well. And so just going through WTW Wired to Win and learn the different principles and tools and methods of growing, it pushed me to want to do this. I mean, at first, I wrote the book, The New You, which precedes Contagious Mentorship and Coaching Services, which is really about identifying your call. And when we say a call, we're not just talking about a spiritual call. We're talking about, am I called to business? Am I called to be a manager? Am I called to be a supervisor? And through that, we say, listen, you need to work it, push it, protect it. And so I named it Contagious because I said, listen, I am contagious with influence. Anybody that comes around me, you must leave my presence being agitated. If you're poor, you must leave my presence being agitated that I need to get rich. You must leave my presence being agitated, I need to go into business.
Go ahead, sir.
And that is so important because I have a friend, and I will just put up on my page the different things that I'm doing, especially shipping. And he messaged me one day and said, how did you get into this? And I said to him, this is how I got into it. Right now, he started his own shipping company.
Mighty. But he did not copy you, though.
No.
But then you sparked something on the inside of him, and he decided that I probably would have been called to do something in courier or shipping, and then he went into that. I implore the listeners and viewers that your yes, Reverend Waldo said yes to business, and his yes spark another yes. And I'm saying to you, you may be in business, you may be one step away from your yes, but your yes is one step away from another family's yes. And we implore you to say your yes, get into business, and you may be an inspiration to others for them to use your life in order to foster a further growth and sustainable businesses in Jamaica Jamaica. Now, I'm glad you mentioned your shipping business and your K&K Travel and Tours. Now, what else motivated you to get into those industries, and what are some of your challenges and rewards thus far?
Wow, so we're meeting one day, a round table talk again with Apostle and some of the men on the ALT, and he said one thing to us. He said, you guys are jokers.
Yes.
And so everybody said, what?
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Yeah.
Why, sir? And sir said, if I were you, I would look and see the needs that people, have and deal with it. Look where somebody don't have something.
Yeah.
So immediately my mind just scanned through all of Wafif, and I realized, bam, nobody had a shipping company.
Yes.
So I said, that is it.
Yes.
And so I just decided I was going to roll in it, and I have a neighbor who owned a shipping company as well.
Yes.
And I reached out to her, and she was the one that said, listen, just start ship with me.
Yes.
I will help you to get the things in.
Yeah.
And then from there, when I said to her I need to branch off on my own, she said, listen, go. And she gave me some ideas, and that's why I pushed into it.
Yeah.
K&K Travel and Tours again. And I want to tell people, listen, when you don't have anything to do, it is your moment to learn.
Yes.
If you're not earning, you should be learning.
You should be learning.
And if you're not learning, you should be earning.
Yes.
That's one of my biggest motto right now, right?
Yes.
And so I started K&K Travel and Tours because, again, I love going online.
Yes.
And just look for plane tickets. My wife will tell you, big up Nathi for Waldo, my wife will tell you that, listen, even if I'm not traveling, physically, my mind is traveling to Japan, I'm traveling to Australia, I'm traveling wherever.
You know where all the cheap tickets are.
I know where the cheap tickets are.
Yes.
So I know where the cheap tickets are. I know where the reasonable hotels are, whether in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, if you want to go on a cruise in Europe. And so all of that sparked the interest of K&K Travel and Tours. And then I spoke to my business partner from TSW Tours, Tanya Walcott, and she gave me the idea of jumping onto Intel Travel, and that's how we got into that, right? And now things are happening. People are calling me to do their visas. I used to do visa. I do visa for myself, for my entire family. I do the visa application. And so I realized that, I have a knack for it.
You have a knack for it.
Yeah, and then others came, and then I said, I really have a knack for this. So now I tell people my hands are anointed for visas.
mighty. So, but it sounds all rosy. There haven't been any challenges.
There were difficult days when we were starting contagious shipping. In every industry that you're going in, you really want to know, how can you get some assistance? You're calling people to find out how did you start, etc., etc. Some people shut the door. We call different persons, and one company, one business owner said to us, I'm not telling you anything because they're going to take the bread from out my mouth. That's what they said. That's what he said to us. We went somewhere else, they said the same thing. We're not telling you anything. You're going to come and give us competition. So in the initial stages, it was hard, and I couldn't understand why people were trying to block us, when one of my motto is, when you go in Shoppers Fair, there are so many breads on the shelf. Every different brand. At some point, every brand gets bought.
So why are they being a gatekeeper?
Exactly. Why are you trying to be a gatekeeper when the market is so big? So those were some of our serious challenges, people just trying to block us. So we had to push past those. There were difficult days as well. When you're doing shipping, sometimes when things get detained, I'm telling you, it's detained for a long time, and now your customers are calling, hey, what's happening? So there were those days when you're worried if they're going to continue to purchase from you. But I praise God that we have loyal customers now, because we kept on communicating with them. This is what's happening, that's what's happening, and so they keep coming back. But they were serious tough days.
But you push through, and know you are experiencing the joys of never giving up. But you said something before, and I want to unpack it before we move on. You said that you look on your surroundings and realize what were the needs, and you provided a solution for that need.
Yes, sir.
And that is what we are imploring and encouraging viewers and listeners to do. You have some immediate needs in your surroundings, and if you only tap into that, take a step back Analyze what those needs are, provide a solution for those needs, and you're able to start your business. Reverend Dr. Waldo did so, and he's now reaping the rewards of saying yes to that trust and moving forward. Now, in your ministry work, sir, you have to be able to balance your role as a pastor, educator, business owner, and might we add, author. And so what kind of advice would you give to your persons who are struggling with these multiple responsibilities?
I mean, awesome question again. One of the things I would say to them is get a productivity planner.
There you go.
Get a wire doing productivity planner, because it does help you to be extremely focused.
Yes.
And you need that. You need that type of focus. You need to be writing down what are the things you need to achieve and where you need to go. The next thing for me that helps me is that I have people around me that can assist me.
Yes.
Right? I have people that just volunteered to be my personal assistant.
Yes.
And so that helps me to schedule a lot of things and reminds me about a lot of things, so that I can also pay keen attention, first to my first ministry, which is to my family,
Yes.
my wife and my son.
Yeah.
And, my wife is a big help as well,
Yeah.
because she does keep me on track and let me know, hey, you need to do this,
Yeah.
you need to do this for Caleb, you need to pay him mine, etc. As a pastor, as an educator, as a business owner, all of those will take up a lot of your time.
Yes.
So you have to decide how much time you're going to give to the different roles.
Yeah.
And so in a week, all my days are divided.
Yeah.
As a pastor, I have a day when I call the members. I'm checking up on them.
Yeah.
Then in the nights, most times, the best time to book a flight is in the night. So in
Yes.
the night, I spend a lot of time on the computer,
Yes.
looking for flights for people, etc. And, and similarly, as an educator, all of our classes at Wafif Christian College are online, and it starts at 5:30 p.m. So in the day I have some time to work around that, and then in the night I am just focused, and especially because Caleb goes to bed in the night, so you can even be more focused. So I would say to somebody right now, make sure that you are sitting down, planning out your days properly, so that you are being productive.
Yeah.
And one thing that I learned very quickly is I have to make sure that what I am doing is something that is not just a good thing, but is something that is going to cause me to grow.
Yes.
So whatever you're doing as pastor, educator, business owner, if it is not causing you to grow,
Then you will get tired of it.
you get tired of doing it.
Okay. So if we are to summarize that, he says, plan your day. Have a system of planning. He says, have an accountability partner. There's somebody holding him accountable to ensure that he stays with that plan. He's also said, have good support system. But let's shift gear a bit, Reverend Waldo. You have multiple business interests. And it's also important for you to have strategic partnerships and interlinkages among these companies. Have you been doing so, and why? Why do you believe that is important?
I mean, that is so important, because when you think of the shipping and K&K Travel and Tours, one of the things I said to my wife is, listen, when I'm booking someone, if they're traveling to Jamaica, I say to them, are you shipping anything?
Yes.
Do you have a barrel? Do you have a box? Whatever it is. So I'm making sure that I'm creating that type of linkage between those companies.
Yes.
Because you really want to make sure there is sustainability.
Yes.
That you're not doing something that is out of your purview.
Yes.
And then you start to, you're all over the place, and you're not being strategic in what you're doing. So there are partnerships that I have with people, again, in the hotel industry.
Yes.
So we have to talk to a lot of people at the hotels. That's partnership, right?
Yes.
On the cruises, whatever, on the flights, sometimes we have to call the airlines themselves
Yes.
in order to get seating or tickets for people. Similarly, when we're doing this and we're going into visa, because people are traveling,
Yes.
some people want to go Dubai, some people want to go Mexico, wherever. Well, that's, again, interlinkage. I have to find people who are experts in a Dubai visa,
Yeah.
and I link with them to see how can I get my client this visa.
Yeah.
So all of these linkages are extremely important in building these companies.
So we're going to encourage persons that when you have multiple streams of income or multiple companies that you're managing, always pay attention to your strategic partnerships that would help you to, one, be efficient on your expenses, be efficient on your resources, and also it help you to expand your group of clientele and your exposure to increase revenues. Now, you have played significant role in leadership development from as early as your childhood days in school, as you would have mentioned earlier. So your area of leadership is a key area of development. What are some of the common challenges you see in leaders today, and how would you give some advice for them to overcome those challenges?
All right. I mean, one of the things that I see in leaders today is that sometimes we forget that everything rises and falls on leadership.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter who caused what. It doesn't matter who created a problem. As a leader, you are there to see what do I need to do to fix this. I have to find a solution to this problem. And so sometimes leaders have to be careful that we allow blame to step in to our companies. We start to blame people for this not happening and that not happening. Well, we'll find a way around that. Say to yourself, what is the solution right now? It's not that you're avoiding, but you're saying to yourself, what is the solution right now to fix this issue? The next thing that sometimes I think as leaders we have to do is that we must be transparent in what we're doing. We must let people know this is my reason for doing this, right? You can't tell them everything, but you must let them know this is my reason for doing this. And you need to trust me that what I'm doing is the right thing for the company, because this is going to create a bigger thing for us. The leader must always remember that he has the big picture. It's not the followers. No matter how much the followers love the leader, it is always the leader who sees the bigger picture, right? And work with that. Big for me is that when I have people around me, they are my hands and feet. They are never my brain. Any day they become my brain, I cease to be the leader.
That's an interesting way of thinking about it. Interesting way of thinking about it, sir. But you also would have had, as you had mentioned earlier, written several books. And most of these books is about their spiritual growth and development. What would you want your readers to leave with about these books?
One of the things I want them to leave with about these books is that they do not have to settle for where they are right now. So the book on the new you is not, don't settle, find your passion, push for that. The book on praise and worship is finding that, listen, there is more that you can give, there is more experience. We just wrote a book with myself and Dr. Taj Marie Hunter in the US on intentional discovery, which is finding the different truths in God's word and learning how to interpret it. And my last book that is about to be released is called From Misery to Prophecy. And that one is also dealing with personal growth, finding who you are and working it and not allowing anyone to stop you. So I would say to anyone who will read these books, it is going to make you better. Your life is going to be shifted because there is more to you than what it is now.
Don't settle. And where can persons find some of those books?
The New You and my book on worship, it's on Amazon. Intentional Discoveries on Amazon as well. We have not released Misery to Prophecy as yet. If they can't go on Amazon and you are driving past Wafif Bookstore, 55A Old Harbor, Wafif HQ, it is in the bookstore. Those two first books are in the bookstore, so they can go there and get them.
They definitely should, if they want to be a better version of themselves and increasing what they are already inputting in across the world. Now, you would have had different experiences, dealt with different persons across various industries. What are some of the advice would you give an entrepreneur who is just starting up and the one that is already started, but he is hitting that ceiling and wanting to break into the next level?
Well, I mean, two things. Firstly is who is starting.
Yes.
Take a risk.
Yes.
Don't be afraid. Just go at it. It might look like it's not going to work out, but you don't know that until
Yes.
you step. So
Yes.
just step. With contagious shipping, I just decided to step.
Yes.
With K&K, I just decided to step. And then when you're stepping, be careful who you tell. Some people I never told anything
Yes.
at all.
Yes.
I just did whatever. I'm not telling you to be like me. When I was starting K&K, honestly, is after I started it, I told my wife.
That may run some people into problems.
So that may run some people to problems, but you have to know how to, yeah?
Yes.
So, you know, just go, take risks, push yourself. For those who are in it and you're hitting a ceiling, do not stop. Keep at it, keep going. Find people that can help. Get into some courses. I went into a course with which was a free course online about leadership with Action Coach.
Yes.
And I just dive into it. So I'm always looking online to see where some of these courses are, and also invest in yourself. You want to expand your business? Invest in yourself right now. For contagious shipping, I'm going to do the training at Mind on how to become a custom broker.
Yes.
You have to invest in yourself.
Yes.
And that's over $200,000.
Yes.
So I would say to anyone, you want to expand, go and invest in yourself. Push yourself. Do not stop, because if you stop, then the business is going to stop.
The business is going to stop. You have to be that catalyst for growth. You have to be that person that is pushing your business and expanding. And as you expand by investing in yourself, your business would grow with you. Now, what's next for you? What's next? All this group of companies that you have, contagious mentorship services, contagious shipping, K&K travel and tours. What is next for you?
I mean, what is next for me right now is building out all of these.
Yes.
I am like my father. Apostle is my spiritual father. We fly the plane while we build it.
Yes.
And so now it is building out all of these to make sure that they are going to be profitable, because I'm leaving a legacy for my son.
Yes.
That's something that he can run with. So that is what's next for me. I am building out all of these businesses so that they can be profitable.
Yes.
And that I can employ people, because people need jobs.
Yes, that is it. That is it. And we encourage you and implore you to continue down that path. So Reverend Dr. Waldo is saying to us that he wants to build out the infrastructure, put these companies on a path of sustainable profitability so that he can pass it on for legacies and generations to come. Where and how can persons find you?
All right, so Contagious Mentorship, they can call us at 503-9779. That's 503-9779. Send us a WhatsApp.
Yes.
The other two businesses, because they link so much together.
Yes.
It's also one number, that's 876-824-6220.
Yes.
For travel and tours, they can go on my webpage.
Yes.
That is kenroy.waldo.inteltravel.com.
Yes.
For contagious shipping, they can go on my webpage as well,
Yes.
contagioushipping.com.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm telling you, we are here to ship all your goods. We're here to send you on that dream vacation.
That is it. That is it. And we want to thank you, Reverend Dr. Waldo, for sharing your own business. And I am sure it has been a mouthful. It has been a delightful conversation. And I'm sure our viewers and listeners are better for it. We want to thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. And here on the business end, I will continue to say it. You are the best. You are the Business End Show tribe. Continue to be your increasing best. We can be contacted on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok with @TheBusinessEnd Show. I want to thank you for viewing. Thank you for listening. And until next time, continue to be your increasing best.
Master Coach Apostle Courtney McLean and Business Coach Zidane Simister are powered up to share their expertise on the business end. But don't forget to tell a friend or a colleague, and of course have your tools on hand, your notebook and your pen. Classes are in session every Tuesday, 3:30 on Gospel JA for the business end. Master Coach Apostle Courtney McLean and Business Coach Zidane Simister await you.